start of any Premier League season, it's great to see you, by the way, and
Yes.
to be working with you. The start of any Premier League season, for me, there are several things that mark it. You get the Community Shield, then you get the players running out for the first day, usually in the sunshine in front of a crowd, wearing their sleeves rolled up in the sunshine and all the rest of it. And then there is Andy Jacobs, completely non-scientific, widescreen haymaker predictions of who's going to finish where in the Premier League. And I thought we're going to start this show with a bang. For those of you who support Premier League teams, get ready now to hear Andy's predictions, which he will stick by throughout the season, but he doesn't do a lot of looking at stats and things. This is instinct, gut, and
it's actually based on nothing.
And experience of what the Premier League is.
It's based on nothing.
So
It's a completely knee-jerk reaction to the first weekend's
Where
results.
are you going to start? From the top? Start at the top, I think. Yeah?
It's City, isn't it? They looked the best on the weekend. Excuse me. City looked the best. Arsenal did what Arsenal do, which is score from a set play and keep a clean sheet.
So you've got City first.
Arsenal second.
Right.
Liverpool third. Spurs, I'm putting them at fourth because I have it on very good authority, and I know this for a fact, not for Fabrizio Romano and those ITKs. Fabrizio Eze is going to Spurs.
This week?
This week, yeah. Well, it might not be. He's definitely going there. That's definite.
That's
I can
good.
promise you. And Chelsea fifth. I think they've still got a bit to do, really. There's, breaking teams down at home. United, I've given them sixth.
Okay.
No European football. Looked quite promising.
Okay.
Newcastle, this is absolutely based on nothing. Newcastle 7th, Forest 8th, Villa 9th, Palace 10th, because I think, you see, yesterday playing Palace, that was the worst day to play Palace in the entire season, because it was optimum Palace. They've just beaten Liverpool and City. They haven't lost any of their players, and, they've had a good pre-season, so that was whereas if you play them,
the Chelsea excuse,
but if you play them next week after they've sold their two best players and they've had to deal with a European game which they've never had to deal with before in their history, then you'll know that it's going to be a lot easier to play them than it was yesterday.
It's not mad enough that they've been demoted into the conference. But they have to play a qualifier as well.
Now, I know you're doing that.
They will beat Fredrikstad. They will beat Fredrikstad, but it's just crazy.
They're honestly a very, very good team.
And because of what happened to them, I said it last night on Trans Europe Express, I really, really hope that they win the conference.
I think they could. I think any English team.
The danger to them will be if Shakhtar win their qualifier, they will be in it as well. They're a pretty good team. They've started to bring in a lot more young Brazilians. They might well be the thing that stops Palace winning that league.
But they are. They're well coached, brilliant. They've got about 6 or 7 players. The mad thing is if Palace were a different type of team that weren't a selling team, if they could bring in...
They added 3 players to the current squad.
They'd be brilliant.
Be the top 6,
honestly, they would.
Yeah.
Brighton next.
We're working up to the teams that are going down, everybody.
Fulham 12th, Everton 13th. These are all interchangeable.
Yeah.
Bournemouth 14th. You might be right. I've given Wolves 15th.
I'm not so sure about that.
It's a bit high, isn't it? Leeds 16th. Sunderland 17th.
And?
These are my bottom 3, I'm sad to say. Brentford. Oh, dear.
Well, we'll talk to you about that in a second. You get to see them normally.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I do go. Yeah. And I thought that was a very concerning performance. Burnley. It's that same old story. The goals,
but also the reverse as well with Burnley. Clean sheets in the Championship. One thing, when Richarlison gets 2 goals like that against you, you'll start to say, "Oh, this is the Premier League, is it?"
Exactly.
Right.
West Ham bottom.
West Ham bottom. Yes.
Unless they beat Chelsea this week, in which case I'll have them mid-table.
Why have you got? I mean, look,
it's based on nothing. Don't take it too seriously.
No. But. Is there a part of you that wants West Ham to go down? Is that why they're there?
No, not at all. I just think I don't rate Graham Potter. I didn't rate him at Chelsea.
No.
I didn't rate him last season at West Ham, and that was a typical Potter performance, I thought. And it was interesting to hear Karen Brady on talkSPORT yesterday backing her manager. She has to, but if they lose to Chelsea at home on Friday night, I think he'll be under a lot of. I think he's under pressure now. But it was a bit of an underwhelming, bit of an anticlimax for Chelsea really yesterday. But we'll talk about it in the game. Everybody, having won the Club World Cup and unveiled this banner that said World Champions, is very embarrassing. Don't do that. It's just going to inspire the other team. And the atmosphere at the beginning, which isn't always at the Bridge, it was incredible. You thought, set up to take Palace apart here. And unfortunately, Palace hadn't read the script. And very well. And put in a great performance.
You said not to take too seriously. The one thing I will take seriously is your fears for Brentford, because You've watched them very closely over the past, is it 3 years now you've been going over there? More?
I just think, Norgard, Mbuemo, Visser, Thomas Frank, and quite a lot of the analysts.
Yeah.
I don't think they can, they were a good team. They were a good, solid, mid-table team. But if you strip that out,
and
they're a brilliant side, and I'm sure they know what they're doing, but a knee-jerk reaction to the first result is, they got problems.
Well, we will talk about that game a little later, but with Troy. The other thing, Keith Andrew, I want him to do well, Republic of Ireland International, all the rest of it. I do think it is almost impossible, if you haven't managed in a higher league elsewhere or in the Premier League, to have your first senior job in management being in the Premier League. Is because not only are you dealing with players, things like that, the other coaches are also, nearly all so good that it's a very difficult job. And I wonder if Keith will look back on the weekend in 6 months' time, let's say he's still in the job, and think having a go at the players.
Such a bad idea.
Well, because he seems to me that Keith's at the stage of his career where he needs to prove himself to the players, not the other way round.
Yeah, I do think there's an element of that. But we'll see. Look, it's very, very early days.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.